Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Alice Rouse, author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie. That's right. And these other little books right here where you can find everything from my merchandise, Patreon, cocktail of the day, all that down in that description. So you guys go down and fiddle about because you know how much I love it. Speaking of how much I love it, thank you guys for the awesome community that you guys have made with me here. You truly are, everybody, some amazing, amazing women and men and newbies that are coming along. They're so fantastic. So thank you so much for all the love and support. And if you're new here, join the community because there's a lot of really awesome people. We welcome all kinds of people. We're not going to shut you out. Speaking of shutting out, today's topic is going to be kind of a follow-up to an episode I did almost a year ago, just about a year ago. The Secret Life of Groupies. Here's the thumbnail. I'll put the link down in the description. So The Secret Life of Groupies was from an old, over a decade ago, I believe, old series on WeTV called The Secret Life of Women. So one of the episodes they did was on groupies. Now this was a hand-picked. How this actually happened was Scammy DeBars went on, I believe it was Groupie Central, and kind of put out a feeler and stuff for people to put in their new book, to do this, to that, all this stuff. Groupie Central was probably the original message board, but I'm getting beside the point. So this is what this is going to be based on. Two of the girls that were in that episode, the twin sisters, one of the sisters came over and left a comment. And then the other sister came over and left a comment. And I'm doing this episode with all respect and kindness because this is the deal. You say I didn't research you, and I researched you quite well with what was out there on your own pages. So if you feel there's something I left out, again, I'm sorry for that, but I was going off what you had put out there. So again, the dialogue is open. My invitation to speak to me privately or come on here and tell me what's changed in the decade since you've done the show. Danny and Ashley, well, Ashley goes by Dolly Rocks, so we'll call her Dolly for this because that's what she chooses. So anyway, this is going to be a follow-up on The Secret Lives of Groupies because Ashley and Danny appeared in the comments on that episode. So, and we are going to have a nice little, by New Belgium, a Dominga Sour Mimosa Ale. You guys, this is so good. I've had it on here before. It's a nice, super fresh, kind of a beer mosa, so to speak. So everybody grab your Domingos, kick up your feet, and let's have a little cocktails and rocktails. Cheers, big ears. So good. Okay, so the link down to this episode, some of you may know what I'm talking about. Some of you have maybe not watched it. So the link is right there. This is what the thumbnail looks like. And here's the twin sisters. They're cute. They're adorable girls. Don't get me wrong. You guys know why I have my opinion. And let me start by addressing both Danny and Ashley, or Dolly Rocker and her twin sister Danny. You guys say I did not research you. I researched you well from what is out there because there's not a whole lot about it out there, and any information I got came from your pages. What you guys did not do, you say you didn't know who I was. Yes, you did. You just didn't put two and two together because, oh my God, she's the chick with John Entwistle. Once you figured that out, your dialogue stopped. And like I said, I'll put the link down so you guys can go. She says, hi, Dolly. I'll read some of these because I want to be fair, because I'm going to show you my responses too. So ladies, this is kind of to help you understand where I'm coming from, because I was hit very, what's the word I'm looking for? In a very hierarchy manner is how you came to me. So I'm going to read Dolly Rocker, some of it anyway. Hi, Dolly. Oh, she says Pamela did not organize this special. The producers found us all independently. Well, they found you through Pamela, without a doubt, because what you do is you were talking to me like I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I've never sat on a production set or been part of a production set. Well, I've been on 78 Men's Magazines, MTV, VH1, HBO, Spice Channel, Playboy Channel, XTV, Warp TV, all kinds of things before John died, because as my career as a stripper, I did a lot of things. I did the videos for Deja Vu. I did the Enter the Night show on HBO 20 some odd years ago, when we were competing for the Miss World Topless in Vegas as the Enter the Night show for the Stardust Hotel in Las Vegas. So I have been, and not to mention in Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, there's a lot of movies filmed that are not filmed in LA. Not everything happens in LA. And that's another subject we're going to touch on. But so she said, if you want to really talk about what really happened, I'm available. Well, again, my offer is still open. I haven't heard anything from you. So if you want to be available, we will have a conversation that has nothing to do with big dogging each other. It just has to do with understanding each other, because you don't understand me and you don't know why I have this opinion. So we're still on Instagram. You have to remember the show had total control of the production. We were not with the Big Spank. We were with a band called Crash Street Kids. I don't know who they were. I didn't know the name of the band, and I didn't really care. And I don't mean that wrong, but I was not necessarily dissecting the bands you were with. I was dissecting what you weren't doing. So I'm not sure really why you're calling us fake. Yes, The Who had tour buses. Yes, we met them. No, The Who didn't have, and before, she didn't really realize who I was, that I'm the woman with John Entwistle. And I don't mean that as touching who I am. I don't mean that at all. I'm just staying in dialogue. So, and yes, we met them. You know, the 70s chicks are not the only chicks that met The Who. You guys skip over this whole generation of 80s ladies and forget about us. Well, I'm the voice that is helping bring the other voices from the 80s back. Because us ladies were badass. So don't discount the 80s ladies. All right? And I'm calling you fake because you said it yourself. You guys watched, you or Danny said it. You guys watched a movie, Almost Famous, and got the feeling that you wanted to be that. Well, my generation, we didn't have any book. We didn't have any movie. We didn't have anything besides our heart and soul and our gut instinct and the mothership pulling us in. So for me, someone who falls in love with the idea that Hollywood made the groupie is a false fairy tale love of rock and roll. And I could be wrong for you guys, but this is just my general opinion on all of that. Not just towards you guys, but any Almost Famous bullshit. Because, you know, what you don't know is I lived in Seattle when Cameron Crowe lived there with his ex-wife Nancy Wilson. I saw him quite a lot on the scene. I was with Alice in Chains in Heart's recording studios, Bad Animals, recording that last studio. So I'm a bit educated on what Cameron Crowe was doing during that time, because I was in the same scene as he was. So, and if you met The Who, that's cool. You said we got a picture with Roger Daltrey on the loading ramp. Well, that's great. You probably were standing there when his car pulled up and approached him to do a meet and greet picture. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Alan Rogan was on that particular bus. I don't know who Alan Rogan is, if he's on the road crew or in a band. I know he's not the drummer, because that's Zach, Ringo Starr's son. Pino Palladino took over John's place. Roger and Peter's still there. I don't know if he's a keyboard player or what, but Alan Rogan was on that particular bus. I'll look him up, just to be fair. We loved him. We were really very young, but Pamela did not organize a special. I guarantee you she did. We still are groupies, but someone pointed out that, yes, I became very sick. Lexa Vaughn did as well. And I'm sorry for you guys' illness. I'm sorry to hear that Lexa Vaughn had to fight something so horrible and lose her battle. That sucks. I would never, ever bring that up as a detriment to anybody. And I did not bring that up as a detriment, because that's just sad. And I don't bring up anybody's battles like that, because that's your own battle and you've got a lot of strength to get through that. And I can respect that, because you don't know my battles. Physically, mentally, emotionally. You don't know what I've been through. Because I've been through some battles, and I battle pain every day just like you. All right. I wasn't friends with her. It's okay if you don't understand what we were about and still don't, but authenticity and the love of music is our lifeblood. My sister and I didn't take pictures, and to this day we don't unless invited to, because we were too busy living our lives and having a ball. Well, if you knew anything about me, you would know that that's what I was doing as well. I didn't take a lot of pictures, so I get that. I'm not mad at you. I never said anything about that. What I said is you guys posted a picture saying on the Who's tour bus, which could be misleading. And that was false because the Who, as the band, has not had tour buses since the 70s. You know how I know? Because I've known John since 1989. But you didn't know this. So you're trying to like big dog me, in my opinion. You might not have meant it this way, but this is how it came across to me. And keep in mind, I've had to defend myself from all kinds of shit for 21 years. It'll be 21 years in June. We'll talk about that as well. Sorry we did not document every moment. Like I said, I did not take pictures as well, so I get that. But when I look at your pages, I don't see a lot of action. I don't see a lot of groupiedom and rock and roll, why I think you guys are fake as well is because you do box up being a groupie into this tiny little era, which you emulate. I didn't box up groupie into anything. I didn't know what to expect, and I just lived my life true to my heart and soul with the Road family and let that sweep me away and let that be my influence and let that be my adventure. So, again, when I see someone that read a book or okay, it made sense to you, I get that, but to me, it's still kind of not, you're so centralizing a groupie into this tiny little trinket of arm candy that they were in the 70s. When we are so much bigger than that, we are so much bolder, we are so much more beautiful, we are so much more adventurous and free-spirited, all groupies, not just the 70s and not just you guys. So don't take that wrong of why I think it's fake, because I don't see a lot of stuff on your pages, and because I don't agree with how you kind of came about by watching the movie, because I'm totally dead set against that movie. I just don't like it. Okay. I mean, really, just the most magical experiences. You're telling that to me? And I'm glad you had magical experiences. That's awesome. Okay, but I don't know how not showing what you wanted is degrading to you. Like I said, what's degrading to me is that you have a childhood fantasy that holds groupies back into an objectified idea of what a groupie is. We are stronger women than that objectified idea. We are ballsier women. The 80s ladies, we kicked in that door and we made rock and roll our world. We made the groupie life something bigger. So that's why it offends me, because every time I try to have my voice come heard, there comes some 70s wannabe, almost famous, oh my God, the movie, just completely emulating the life rather than living it completely with your heart and soul, down and dirty through all the pitfalls, all the joys, like the roller coaster that it is. That's why, because you're taking away from my voice by being stuck instead of opening your mind and traveling forward to see what groupies really became instead of stopping it at a certain era. And it's pronounced BB. Don't tell me how to pronounce Baby Bill's name. See, that's degrading. You are talking to me like I'm a fucking child, Dolly Rocker. I'm not a fucking child. I have been around rock and roll since before you were a nut stain in your parents' pants. Do you understand that? So don't tell me that. And this is how it came off to me. It was very condescending. Believe me, we've been battling the cheapening of the word groupie, the groupie word, our whole lives. Oh, you don't know battling the cheapening of the word groupie. Till you've been called hooker, prostitute, murderer, druggie in tabloids all over the world because you were protecting somebody else's privacy and memory. So don't tell me about cheapening the name groupie. You're cheapening by making it an objectified idea, commodity of what the groupie really is, because what you're doing is holding it back from the real powerful women that we were in the 80s. I'm trying to be a voice for that. You're trying to be a voice for a precious little plaything, an idea. And emulate. Not live, emulate. Big difference. Okay, our whole lives. Your whole lives, you're in your 30s. I've been hanging out with bands since I was fucking 15. I am 53. You do the math. Your whole lives, I've been fighting it. In the 80s, we were called degrading to women because we were taking our sexual prowess into our hands. We were making the rock stars our eye candy, our arm candy. But we were making more than that. We were making friends. We were making connections, memories, history, a family. And the way you guys portray groupie, it's not a family. It's just you're there to be a trinket. We weren't. This was our tribe. Plain and simple. And I've said that a million times. Patty Johnson is a wonderful soul, so there's no need to drag her. Well, Patty Johnson came onto my page and friend requested me on Facebook and didn't say a word to me for a year before I deleted her. So what was she doing? How would you feel if I had friended you and not said a word to you if you knew who I was? Because you said you didn't know who I was, but you knew who I was. You just didn't do your research and put two and two together when I did do my research on you guys. So, So I dragged Patty Johnson into this because she was basically haunting my page, trying to get information, not saying, hey, how are you? Had she said that, this would be a different story. Not my opinion on the special, but I wouldn't be talking to her about her like that. And I do know the Rainbow family. I know them. So everything does not happen in LA. Just because I wasn't a groupie in LA doesn't mean I wasn't there. Doesn't mean I had my own experiences there. Doesn't mean the best groupies come from Los Angeles, because I'm going to put this right here with Chris Holmes. The best groupies are in Salt Lake City. That was the 80s, honey. That was me and my friends. And it's some other girls too. Woo! We had a wild time here in Salt Lake City. I promise you we didn't take any opportunities away from other people. Yeah, you know why? Because I turned down the VH1 people. I turned down the We TV people. I actually turned them down. They had to get through a lot of turn downs before they got to people that say yes. So that's kind of where I stand on that, because again, I do know how productions work. I've been on production sets. I've been in MTV, VH1, HBO, Spice Channel, Playboy Channel. I've been in 78. I've done all this. I've done my own shows on the Moulin Rouge in Paris twice. So there's my background to educate you guys so you don't feel the need to try and big dog me with your ever so vast experience. And you were the babies of that show, because we do need the new groupies that come up. And you say something about the outfits, they told us what to wear and stuff. Well, they didn't tell you to make those outfits. You made them before and wore them before. We've all worn outfits that we're like, oh God, what was I thinking? I have, oh God, the clunker, thick stripper heel boots that I wore out in public a couple times in Vegas. Oh no. And a couple things, I come from a generation where biking shorts, the spandex biking shorts, were actually a fashion that we would wear with cowboy boots so trust me, I know, having put on outfits that I'm not so proud of this day. So I'm not trying to knock that. It's just, I've been there. So let me clarify that. But they did not make those outfits, and that was not the first time you wore them. So don't blame the producers. Just be like, if you're proud of them, cool, stand up by it. If you're not, if you're like, oh, like we all have been, what was I thinking 20 years ago? Oh my God. Then say it. It's okay. It's okay to accept your flaws. I'm still proud of how we handled ourselves and what we said despite just starting out. I think it was very archaic. I think you were very much still into the Almost Famous way of looking at things, and I think you still are. We are the, capitals, THE, all in caps. We are the millennial groupies, and now have girls from Gen Z with us as well. I've had girls copy my life at this point, so I get it. Question mark is what she put. I think she meant to put an exclamation point. Wow, you are because, sweetie, I can tell rock stars know who you are, and that's what makes you the groupies of your generation. Because I know a lot of the millennial groupies, and they're out there hanging out with Def Leppard. We're talking to each other. We're swapping stories. They're hanging out with my sister, not my, whatever bands, with Greta like you are. They are experiencing their lives too. And the rock stars actually know them. And they post their passes. They're like, a lot of groupies I think are the same. We don't actually take a lot of our own pictures because that's not our agenda. That's not on our mind. So I get that. But are you the millennial? In my opinion, no. But wow, way to big dog me of all people. Because again, she knows who the girl that that John Entwistle was with a stripper, but she believed the seedy story. Neither of these girls did the research on me to realize the story was much bigger than that one night. I was with John for 13 years. So if you're going to come here talking about the Who, tell it to someone who didn't meet them in 1989 and was with John the night he died. So, yeah. And wow, we now have girls from Gen Z as well with this. I've had girls copy my life at this point, so I get it. I never said anything about copying anybody's life. I never said I was the groupie of the world or queen of the scene like your sister said, who made you queen of the scene. I never said that. You guys just did, though. You guys took that little crown, that false the emperor's, you're basically wearing the emperor's new clothes. Do you know that story? Where he thinks he's in the finest of finery, the finest threads, the finest stockings and shoes. But he's really naked. He's just delusional into thinking he's in the finest finery. Because you are that one just gets me. So, but I'm not sure why you need to attack the BBAs. We're nothing that you claim in this video. Yeah, because you're not what you claim to be in real life. I agree with your comment that I am too young to be debilitated, but unfortunately, because I guess I said, and that's the only thing I brought up because I did do my research. I'm like, this is where she is now, and looks like and I wish you didn't have that. You're too young. You're in your 30s. You don't realize even how young you are in your 30s. And that's too young for you to be in that. So I'm sorry about that. Truly, honestly. If I could sprinkle some fairy dust on you and you could be back to being a prima ballerina, I would. Because I don't think anybody's dream should be taken away without their consent or their voice. Which, I'd like to ask why you chose to do that video or that series, the WeTV. I'd like to ask why you actually did it. Did you do it for the attention? Did you do it because you want to be a voice? I don't know. Because you guys were kind of very attitudey about me. And I did my book because I needed my voice heard. I was being dragged through the mud, called hooker, prostitute, murder, blamed for cocaine. And speaking of, let's talk about this. Danny said, your sister said, not my Danny, because I have a Danny as well, that was huge into the groupie scene with me. We both went all over the world with it for 2 decades or more. I'm still in it. She still has friends that she hangs out with. We've been in it over 30 years, longer than you've been alive. So, but Danny said something is, we don't post everything to protect their privacy. That was very ostentatious of you. Because you want to talk about protecting a band's privacy? Until you have sat between 2 homicide detectives, not once, but twice. The morning John died, and 2 weeks later when the tox results came back, 2 weeks before and this is 2 weeks before the rest of the world got it, until you have been hounded, called horrible, horrible things in the press, until your family has been terrorized, John's family until you have fed yourself to the wolves to protect other people's real privacy, when you have put your own safety in jeopardy to protect not only John's privacy, but his memory as well. I don't want to hear about, I'm not going to post a picture because I'm protecting the band's privacy. When you say that to me, to someone who's for the past almost 21 years, who has taken a beating publicly for something that I didn't do, who was blamed by homicide, who was a nameless, faceless novelty. I was so busy protecting John's personal life and his memory that I forgot to protect my own. That I fell to the roadkill. So don't talk to me about protecting somebody's privacy, because you don't know protecting your family's privacy. Because not only is my blood family, John's blood family that I was protecting, but it was also my road family. I was 13 years into my relationship with John, with my friendship. So don't talk to me about protecting privacy. I protected everybody's privacies for 17 years until I was invaded. The day John died, it was me that called the head of security, Frank, from the Hard Rock, who I knew for 8 years, to have me snuck out. Because Cy, Rex King, Bill Kerbishley, they decided I could probably go unnoticed. No, from the day I woke up next to John dead, I've been protecting his privacy. So until you've been put in that real life rock and roll situation, until you've been dragged through the mud and put your own self out as a sacrifice, don't tell me you're not posting pictures so you can protect the band's privacy. That is so friggin' ridiculous. And I don't mean that mean, but really, because then the conversation stopped when they realized who I was. Oh. But again, my offer to have a talk, not big dogging, nothing like that, it stands. When you guys are ready, you can do it privately. You know where to find me. Or just watch my videos. Get to know really who I am and what I'm about here. Because I am about empowering women. Because the problem is, you guys are not. You guys leave the 80s girls out. You glorify yourselves because you just glorified yourself in that. And like I said, I'll put up the conversations at the end of this video so you guys can read my response. Because I did. I was like, girl, you don't know who you're talking to. I've done all this stuff in my life. On my own. I've sat on more sides of the stage than you probably ever will. I've toured the world with these bands. See, when I'm talking about show me proof, you don't have to show pictures. Show me the plane tickets like I've showed here. Show me the passes like I've shown here. Talk about your experiences. You don't have to know who the band is. Because like I said, protecting the band by not posting a picture, that's just a cop-out to me. Let me see here. Desiree. Oh, and Miss Danny comes in. This is really embarrassing. You are using my sister's extraordinarily graceful comment to your little review that does nothing but slam us to try and shame us into believing that you are the real deal and we are not. You want to talk about real deal? Again, I'm part of fucking rock and roll history. I'm part of Las Vegas history. I'm part of the Who's history that you were so braggartly claiming you were on a bus that the band probably has never been on. You met Roger on the loading dock. That's where his car pulled up, or his runner van, or whatever he was in that day. And he got out of the van on the way to the dressing room and you took a picture. So you want to know the real deal? Again, I invite you to watch my videos. You want to talk about the real deal? I've lost my heart and soul. I'm stuck in rock and roll. I had one foot out the door in college, ready to start my new life with my art history degree, going to England and working for Victoria and Albert, or with Philip Mould, or one of the big art dealers, or Sotheby's. That was my future. But I woke up to one day that changed my life. I was 17 years. So you have no right, Danny, to come over here and pretend like I'm not the real deal. You guys are big dogging me. How do you expect me to react? Never heard of you before. Don't care about what your requirements are for calling yourself anywhere what a groupie is. Point is this promo of a show that you aren't referring to leaves out everything we are. Well, again, dialogue's open. Come and tell me everything you are. Because right now you're just pissed off bullies because you're little girls who have had nothing but praise. You haven't had to deal with bad press. And that's false. I've had to deal with bad press. You think I was interested in the real deal? The real deal, you don't know the real deal. Because again, ask yourself why you had to do that special. Was it for attention? I'm guessing it was. My book was to get my voice back from being called things that I wasn't. Like I said, I've sued Roger Daltrey. I've had to take so many cease and desist letters out that you would not be able to count that high in 20 years. I have given my life and I am stuck forever in rock and roll. So you want to talk about the real deal? I know what the road is. I've been out on the band. I've spent 8 years dating Vincent Paul, 5 years with Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols, 13 years with John Entwistle of The Who, 5 years with James Hetfield of Metallica, and on and on and on and on. So you want to talk about the real deal? Watch my videos. Open your mind. Yes, I'm heated right now because how you guys spoke to me, because you're pissed off because one person didn't like your little farce of a show that you did for attention, because you wanted to be the millennial groupies. This is our chance. You and I are two different creatures. Like I said, you fell in love with the movie and idea and the attention that you got from it. I fell in love with the family. I fell in love with the dirty stuff. And I don't mean like sex, drugs, and rock and roll dirty. I mean the bad days of rock and roll, the boring days of rock and roll, the camaraderie we have as a family, being out on the road and forgetting where the hell you are because it's such a blur, never seeing anything because you're only in town for 28 to 48 hours. That's what I'm not seeing from you. Not being able to go more than number one and not be putting anything in that tour bus bathroom, knowing what it's like, which bunk to choose on the bus, because there's that whole, physics, the bus shakes like this. So that's what I'm not hearing from you. These tiny little details, what a day in the rock and roll looks like, what the bus call, how, to this day, I'm not hearing any reality of rock and roll. I'm just seeing a bunch of pictures. And oh, I'm amused. And before you say anything, I never said I was amused. And yes, I'm actually mentioned in a song written by Pete Townsend called Old Red Wine by that little band called The Who. Listen to it. So am I the real deal? You bet your fucking ass. Then Miss Danny says, oh God, I hit play. Yes, we were on the crew bus for that particular picture. Oh my God, the first time you admitted that you were on the Who's crew bus. That's okay. The crew guys, I have some of my best friends. Oris, I did a video with Oris. It's down there. Bitchin' in the kitchen. Go check it out. He's awesome. He's the best FOH guy in the business. Been around longer than you've been alive. The Who's crew, after we said hello to Roger on the loading dock area, I cannot believe I have to explain this to you. Because you're pissed off because you have to explain, because I'm not just believing you with blind bullshit. I'm not pulling the wool over my own eyes to believe you. You're talking to someone who's been there. So you come on to me and just... Oh, and it looks like you deleted some of your stuff too, because Dolly Rocker had gotten back as well, kind of. But that's okay. I took pictures. I took screenshots. Like I said, they'll be at the end of this video. So ladies, yes, I get heated. Yes, I am angry because I fight for my voice to be heard. And every time someone else comes along with I'm with the band Almost Famous bullshit, the voice of the 80s ladies has to take 2 steps to the back. And I'm done with that. I'm done with you fake little girls, because as far as I'm concerned, you, like I said, you love the idea. You live the aura. And you emulate something from the past. While I live it with reality. And all its junky days and all its beautiful days, stuff like that. I date the guys who they are off stage. When they come off that stage, that rock star is going in that road case. I do not act like I am lucky to be there with them. I act like we are just having a good time together. My family. I get so excited to see my friends. And she left one of those off going, we're going off to do groupie stuff. The fuck was that? We're going off to do groupie stuff? Like, oh, you're so has-been. No, sweetie, I'm not. I don't go to a lot of shows here in Salt Lake City because they're out this one place you saw, the amphitheater. And you can agree with me on this. Sometimes amphitheaters are the worst, the outdoors. This one faces west, so the whole heat of the day in the summer is just beating. It's in the musician's eyes. The sound is okay there, you know. So I don't like going out to shows there, but I still go out to dinners and have drinks and hang out with my musician friends, the ones I choose to, because I chose my groupie life. You chose to emulate somebody else's idea of the groupie life. I made my own rules. Me and my friends, we made our own rules. We broke our own rules. We broke rock and roll's rules. So if you want the real deal, and if you want to show me the things you've been up to since, please, I promise to talk to you with respect and decency. But before you come on, I'd like you to do your research and at least watch all my videos so you know who you're talking to. And I don't mean that in a hierarchy bitchy way. I want you to understand who I am as a woman and as a groupie. And that I deserve some respect because I've earned it. Not because I'm demanding of it, because I was put in some special, because Pamela DeBars did. She put the names out there for the producers to contact you. Let's face it. I wasn't put into that. I was dragged through tabloids all over the world. I woke up to scandal one day and became the scandalous infamy side of rock and roll. And like I said, you knew who I was. You just use these little immature. I support women. I'm here to support other women. I love all the groupies that come on here. All of us here, we come from different walks of life, and we have created a fucking awesome community. So maybe you should try that rather than acting like you're in the court of the groupie queen, because you're not. You're not at all. So, offer is open, ladies. If you would like to come on and say your piece, please. If you would like to contact me privately and say your piece, let's have an open dialogue with respect. But like I said, know my groupie history before you come shooting your mouths off to me like that again. Because you came here with the hierarchy, and then the second you were like, when Danny was like, oh, excuse me, Dolly Rocker was like, oh, that was you with John Entwistle? I would have loved to have met him. That shut you up, didn't it? Well, I don't want to shut you up. I want to learn more about you. But I want you to understand me too. So anyway, there you guys go. That's kind of my follow-up of what's going on. Like I said, the link is down here. I'll put the whole conversation at the end of this video so you guys can pause and read and scroll through. And I have a right to defend myself because I'm constantly having to defend myself through haters like you who think they're some groupie queens because you called yourself that. I didn't call myself that. You called yourself the groupies of the millennium. But only you called yourself that. Isn't that funny? I have been called queen of the scene by the musicians. But I don't call myself that. I just call them my road family. So, all right, you guys. Thank you for sitting with me through another bitchy hour. You know how I love it. But, you know, they were responding to an episode that I did, and I still stand by this because you still didn't give me any more ideas as to why you are the queens and everybody wants to be you. So give me some ideas. Because I think you both are cute women. I think you're both adorable. I love the fact that you're free-spirited and that you're using your ingenuity and stuff to make your own way in life. I do respect that. But respect the things about me that you're going to learn and why I'm here. Okay? So, okay, everybody, thank you again to everybody here for sitting through the bitching hour. We've got one more Christian thing coming up. Kristen and I are talking about doing a podcast. So, you guys, it's going to be exciting. And sorry, this is a very, very long episode today. Somebody said I don't talk enough, so here we are. 40 minutes instead of 20. All right, guys. And everybody truly, I do appreciate everybody here. I do want everybody's, all groupies' voices to be heard. But us 80s ladies are just left out of the mix. We are skipped over. And in my opinion, you're skipping over some really awesome shit. Some really strong women. Not just me. Not just my friends. But a lot of women in the 80s were amazing groupies. The 70s ladies weren't around. So we had to do something to make it exciting. All right, guys. Don't forget, for everybody who's new here, who's just haunting this channel, go down in that description, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit my bells, and we'll see you next time here on Cocktails and Rocktails. Cheers, big ears.